I the asshole for getting engaged after my brother's wedding? My brother and his now wife got married 3 days ago. A very small destination ceremony under 15 people total. My now fiancé and I extended our trip after everyone went home and spent a couple of days exploring the Grand Canyon, a couple hours north of the wedding where he proposed. When I shared the news with my brother and now sister-in-law, he responded with hostility, saying that it looked like we were competing. I apologized, quickly realizing that he was advocating for my sister-in-law and that she felt hurt, although I'm truly failing to understand why. I also texted her a separate apology and explained that it was not our intent to encroach and just wanted to share the news with family, and that it's my belief that there's room for happiness for everyone. She did not respond. In response to my apology, my brother doubled down and said the timing and location were hurtful and that we shouldn't plan around the wedding.
Top comment, not the asshole. And I can see you're trying valiantly to understand, but I'm not sure your brother or his wife will be able to give you a good reason for their reaction. 'Cause their reaction is wild. Sure, it's rude to propose at someone else's wedding, but that's not what happened. The fact that you and your fiancé got engaged a few days after their wedding, before you flew home, is a totally different thing. Also, the level of hostility in that message from your brother is nasty and definitely not normal. I'm so sorry that he treats you like that.
Am I the asshole for not allowing my mom to stay another week after her pipes burst just before Christmas? I, a 38-year-old female, am celebrating Christmas with my mom, 68-year-old female, my brother, 47 male, and his family. My mom flew in from out of state, and we are driving to a meetup location to spend time with my brother's family, a place in the mountains we all enjoy just for the holidays. All of us live hours away, our mom being the furthest on the opposite coast. My brother and I are several hours away by car. This year, we received the bad news that, while my mom has been at my place, her pipes froze and flooded her basement. She is upset, understandably. I helped her get everything started and have her insurance, a cleanup team, and a general contractor all working on her place while she is with me. She then broached the topic that she wanted to extend her week stay to 2 weeks or more. I said no, I need to get back to my regular routine and get ready to return to work. She's welcome to stay here as originally planned, which is until Saturday. Then, she said she may ask to ride back with my brother and his family to their home in another state, opposite direction than me. She refused to ask him until Christmas, so I gave my brother a heads up last night, so he has a chance to speak with his wife. I also told him that he's under no obligation to say yes, as she is still welcome to stay with me until Saturday, and her insurance company will be footing the bill for most of her stay at a hotel and meals if her residence is uninhabitable, which we do not know at this time. He told me he didn't have room to take her back with him, 3 people in his car and no room for a 4th, assuming luggage is the issue. That I should let her stay with me because she's lonely. I told him I understood that, but I'm not wrong for wanting to cap my time with her at the 1 week originally planned. He had left that text on send. My mom can be a challenging personality, and with this unfortunate development, she's even more difficult. I love my mom, but I'm tired. I want my house back and don't want to be criticized or complained at. I refuse to allow my lonely mother to extend her stay with me, despite the recent damages to an unknown state of her home. AITA for prioritizing my space and personal downtime over my mother's emotional needs.
Top comment, not the asshole, but this is tough. It's not like you owe her a place to stay, especially when insurance will pay. But I don't think I could tell my mom to go stay at a hotel during the holidays.
Am I the asshole for writing my siblings out of my will? For context, my brother, 30 male, and sister, 25 female, have lived very far from me for a long period of time for me, going on over a decade now. They never bothered to include me as a sibling growing up and have continued the tradition into adulthood. Contact is sparse at best, and only when initiated by a mutual third party, never voluntary on their end, and all attempts from me are ignored. I have received a medical diagnosis that isn't looking good, and I wanted to ensure that, should the worst come, my affairs would be in order over the next few years. I updated my living will recently, family doesn't know I have one, and struck them from it, barring them from receiving anything, instead leaving assets to my parents with instructions on their provisioning. Friends have told me that I'm being harsh and I should include them, but I hardly know them anymore, and any interactions have been largely negative over the past 10 to 15 years. I could care less what happens after I'm gone, but I don't want what I worked hard for to go to them.
Top comment, not the asshole. First off, I'm sorry that you're so young and having to face this issue, but Your parents are your next of kin, and would thus have to deal with anything you leave behind should the worst happen. You're just letting them know what you want to happen. Assure your friends that you're aware that your parents can do whatever they want after they fulfill the enforceable parts of your will, and know that the other kids might get some benefit. You are just leaving that up to others.
Am I the asshole for not going to my husband's family's Christmas? I am a first responder, and have been for the last 3 years. My schedule is a rotating shift pattern, days/nights. The pattern is consistent, and I can tell you what days I'm working very far in advance. Because of this, I told my entire family last year that I would be working on Christmas this year, and reminded them when we saw them. This is the first time I have had to work on Christmas. My side of the family understands, and we are celebrating with just my parents and siblings another day. My husband's family is really into Christmas. Like, everyone needs to be at sister-in-law's house at 8 a.m. to open presents together, and then we spend the entire day together. So when I asked if we could celebrate together another day over the holidays, instead it got shut down with statements like, Christmas is on December 25th, or I don't understand. Can't you just ask for the day off? So I let them know my husband would be attending solo this year. This morning while I was at work, my husband, who works a 9 to 5 and is enjoying his day off, texted me it would be nice if you could come by for a couple hours tomorrow after work. I declined because sister-in-law lives 90 minutes away, so that's 3 hours of driving. I would be driving home alone at night with not the best weather. My job can be very stressful, and my social battery is drained by the time I get home. We already agreed that it made more sense for me to stay home and to have him go to his parents' house on Christmas Eve so they could drive over in the morning together. Well, my husband is pissed and thinks that I don't want to spend time with his family. He's been sending me passive-aggressive texts all day trying to guilt-trip me. We don't know how much time we have left with my parents. It's working because I feel like I'm letting everyone down, and I don't want his family to think I don't want to spend Christmas with them. Will I be the asshole if I stuck to our original plan instead of making an effort to go see his family tomorrow after work? And I am locked out of commenting till January 2nd, so I'll just reply here. Thank you everyone for taking the time to respond. I was really upset last night, and it's nice to get an outsider's perspective. One of the comments said, it's not the date, it's the day, and I'll be using that from now on. A couple of you guessed right, yes, part of my job is answering 911 calls. My husband mostly understanding of how our shifts work, but I usually get pushback on long weekend or celebrations. I have been trying to convince him to come in for an observation shift so he can finally understand, but he doesn't feel comfortable listening in on the calls. I haven't confirmed, but I think what may have caused him to even request my appearance is that his father, who is in the early stages of dementia, may have asked what time we were both coming over, forgetting I was not coming over. This shift schedule is still new to him, and he hates showing up to events without me and having to explain to everyone I'm not there because working. This is definitely something we are going to have to work out before we try and have kids. Thanks again, everyone, and Merry Christmas. Especially to all my fellow first responders, healthcare workers, shift workers, and anyone who has had to work a 24/7/365-day job.
Top comment, not the asshole. I work in the field of emergency services, and the fact is that we, as a group, are never off duty. And unless you're going to screw your colleagues and they're going to somehow allow it, you have to take your share of holiday shifts. My family is completely used to celebrating important occasions with me on the wrong calendar date. Original poster. I don't know how long you have been with your husband, so maybe the situation is salvageable, but he needs to get with the fucking program yesterday.
Am I the asshole for telling people I'm not having fun when they ask, and I'm genuinely not? This one is general. I am a guy who, when I don't enjoy something, I'll tell you I don't, but if I commit to something, I'll see it through to the end without complaining. This comes to a head where I was on vacation with my older brother in Arizona, who wanted to do a lot of nature hikes. Nature hikes are fine. I don't mind them, but I do dislike walking up large hills. Walking downhill is the easiest thing ever. It's like being nature's passenger princess. You just put your foot forward and let gravity do all the work. Walking uphill, conversely, is very draining and leaves me sweaty. I don't make a point to complain about something when I do it, so when I was walking uphill, despite not liking it much, I held basic conversation with my brother. As we were heading back down, he asked me if I was having fun, and I said no. Not because of any fault of my brother. I just didn't find the activity fun. Not even bad, just satisfactory. Later, when he was driving me to the airport for my flight home, he told me, if I ask you if you're having fun, don't say no. I understand that it can be demoralizing to hear someone's not having fun, but I don't like it when people ask for my opinion and get upset when I give my honest answer. If I'm not having fun, I'll just say I'm not having fun.
Top comment, asshole. It's been a fun day hanging with you, but man, this hike is steep. I'm looking forward to the downhill bit. That's the sort of polite answer people are looking for. You acknowledge you're enjoying your brother's company, which was what he was looking for. But you can also acknowledge the hike is hard/difficult, etc. It doesn't matter how much the activity sucks. People want to hear that you're enjoying their company.
Am I the asshole for telling my mom to tell her boyfriend to stop telling me what to do? I, a female, 20 years old, have been starting to get really annoyed by my mom's new boyfriend. At first he was cool, but now I feel as though he is overstepping. My parents got divorced only a year and a half ago, and my mom and her boyfriend have been together for roughly 6 months now. Of course I am happy that she found someone new, but his actions are bothering me. It started after she told him about an argument we had, and he randomly told me to be graceful to those around me. During my teenage years my mom and I would argue a lot, but it was nothing out of the normal mother-teenage-daughter conflicts. I'll admit I do still have a bit of resentment towards her for some of the things that she has done/said, but I am working on it with therapy. We are good for the most part, but sometimes she will have an attitude and I will use attitude back at her, which she probably told him and prompted him to say that. Either way though, I think it is none of his business the arguments I go through with my mom. The next thing that bothered me was on Thanksgiving when I was upset because of an argument with my boyfriend and needed some extra time to collect myself before going down to the table. My mom called me over the phone to come and I didn't go immediately, but I said give me a few more minutes. It was then when I got a knock at the door and I said, "Who is it? Please don't come in right now," and her boyfriend burst through the door anyway and kept telling me to come downstairs right now. That rubbed me the wrong way completely and I was even more upset and hated being downstairs after that. The last thing that happened with him was this evening when we went out to eat for Christmas Eve, and we had all finished eating, so I slipped away to the bathroom to check my phone. My boyfriend was asking me about something important, so I continued replying when I got back to the table. It wasn't even 1 minute of me still being on my phone when he told me to put it away. I said I will and continued to text because I was just aggravated. My parents raised me to have manners and they never banned me from using my phone completely at the table. Just not excessively, which I knew not to do anyways, and that was not what I was doing. The rest of the time I just stayed quiet and couldn't wait to go home. When I got home I told her to tell him to stop telling me what to do, to which she replied, "You tell him," and she seemed mad.
Top comment. Everyone sucks. You are an adult. Speak up. If she won't say anything, then you need to. Next time he meddles in your family business, remind him that he is your mother's boyfriend and he needs to mind his own business. That unless you ask for his opinion, he needs to keep them to himself. And if he complains to your mother, she will need to speak up. Another commenter. I am an adult, not a child, and not your child. You are just my mom's boyfriend and a guest in this house. You do not have the right to order me around or to come into my room uninvited. If you invade my privacy like that again, I will assume that you are trying to catch me changing and take the necessary action to protect myself. Time to take charge of your own life, dear.
Am I the asshole for telling my mom about my dad's weaponized incompetence? I, an 18-year-old female, do all the shopping in the house. It's been my job since I was like 12. My dad hates going shopping, so I never ask him. For Christmas I am cooking. I had a very specific grocery list because I'm making things that I haven't made before. My parents didn't let me go shopping yesterday, so I had to go today. My dad said he would grab certain things to help me out and I said okay. I gave him a list. I really needed chicken thighs and blocks of cheese. He came home with ground chicken and only mozzarella cheese that's pre-shredded. I told my mom about it because this isn't the first time he's done this and it's made me upset. She got mad at me for being upset with him because we never ask him for anything. I have asked him multiple times to get things for me and he either gets the wrong thing, doesn't get anything I need, or complains. For example, I wanted to go shopping before my wisdom tooth removal. I had a list of things with pictures because he said he could grab it and certain brands make me sick. He got 4 of 20 things on the list and said everything else was not necessary. He went with my money and said that. Now my mom's upset with me because she is in debt from always buying stuff for the house. But the whole reason that's happened is because of my dad's weaponized incompetence. So am I the asshole for being mad at me, dad, and telling my mom?
Top comment, not the asshole. You've been doing the grocery shopping since you were 12. While this isn't a bad skill, why aren't your parents involved? Why is your mom allowing your dad to be completely incompetent on this? You gave him your money, and did he even give any back? You'd be better off getting an Instacart shopper at this point, or doing a curbside pickup. Make some crap meal, and when asked, just say it's what dad got, despite the very detailed list he was given. Original poster responded with,
My mom was involved till I turned 15. Then it was only me. He didn't give me the money back. Just told me it paid for my future car, which he's promised since I was 14.
Please note, all of these stories have no updates as of now. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe for more.